Chapter 8, Introduction to CPT. Medical coding, and what we're going to learn this semester, does a few different things, has a few different purposes. First of all, it transforms services, procedures, supplies that are given out, drugs that are given into CPT or HCPT codes. This is Introduction to CPT class. We will be doing CPT coding. It transforms a diagnosis and procedures into actual diagnosis codes. You might say, why do we need to learn coding? What, is the reason for medical coding? Basically, we need to communicate effectively and able to talk to our third-party payers, which are your insurance companies, for payment. Levels of service codes. We have level 1 CPT. The categories and the numbers on these slides you don't need to become too concerned about. As we use them, you'll become more familiar. And there are level 2 HCPT national codes. As you can see the difference on the screen here, do you see some alpha numbers or letters? All codes that you will be using in this course, an Introduction to CPT Coding, will be numeric. And as you can see, they are 5 digits. Okay, the 99201 to 99607, these and anything in this range are going to be codes that you'll have as answers. This category 3, you see it has alpha here, they're alpha and numeric. We will not be using those, and we'll talk about those a little bit this semester, but they're more advanced. You won't have anything that has a letter in your answer. Level 2 HCPT codes, as you can see here, national. They also have an alpha, A through V. We will not be using these this semester as well. So you can disregard them. Diagnosis codes. I have written on my slide the why. ICD-10 CM stands for the International Classification of Diseases, the 10th revision, clinical modification. You will learn this with Jennifer or Shelly. There are ICD-10 teachers, okay? I'm going to teach you Introduction to CPT. We have 2 types of coding classes that you're going to take in this program. We have CPT class, we have an Introduction and an Advanced, and you have ICD-10 class. You have an Introduction and an Advanced. So you'll take 4 coding classes. I'm going to teach you the Introduction to CPT, which is where I kind of break off here and talk about my what versus why. On my slide, I kind of have a big table here, and I say, the what versus the why. What was done, and why was it done? Okay? What was done is a procedure, some type of procedure or service that was delivered by your physician or a surgeon or physician's assistant or nurse practitioner, some type of provider. Okay? What was provided by them is a service or procedure. We're going to code that in CPT class. The what. Okay? Those are CPT codes. The why it was done, are all what's on your screen here, ICD-10 codes. They are diagnoses. Okay? You're going to learn that from Shelly or Jennifer. So, for instance, an appendectomy. That's the removal of the appendix. That's a surgery, right, or a procedure. We're going to find a code for that in our CPT book. That's a procedure. That's a what. What was done? Appendectomy. Why was it done? The patient had appendicitis. Appendicitis is a diagnosis. That will come from the ICD-10 book. Okay? A doctor's visit or an appointment that you have today because you have a sore throat. What was done? The doctor's visit. That's a procedure. We're going to code it from our CPT books this semester. Why was it done? Because you had a sore throat. Or maybe because you had knee pain. Okay, there's lots of different reasons why we go to the doctor, right? The why is going to come from your ICD-10 book. Okay, so you have to keep these coding classes very, very separate, especially when you're learning this online. Okay, it's very difficult. I'm going to do as many videos as we can to give you guys help in keeping these all straight. So the what and what was done is procedures or services. That's what we're going to code from CPT class. Why it was done, that's what we're going to learn to code, and you will learn to code from Jennifer or Shelly in ICD-10 class. Why do we even use codes? Computers understand numbers. It's so much easier to talk in code than it is to spit out the whole, procedure description. A specific description is attached to every single code. And remember, CPT codes are 5 digits. Okay? So would I rather give you a 5-digit code, or would I rather read off a huge paragraph description of what the procedure was? Okay? Coding is standard and it's very efficient. So CPT class, procedures, see the P for procedures in there. Those are your what's, okay? We're going to code all procedures. It was developed by the AMA, so the American Medical Association, 1966. You guys can all read this. Basically, you need to know, and I have a little quiz. It's updated every year, yearly. Okay, that's a quiz question. And category 1, divided into category 1 here on the slide, that's what we're going to go through this semester, category 1 codes. Okay, that's going to be us. These are all examples of CPT codes. Okay, we have medical codes, we have surgical codes. Diagnostic services would be lab tests, x-rays, ultrasounds. Okay, we're going to code all those types of things. Anesthesia has codes. Okay, category 2 and 3 codes we're not going to spend a lot of time on in Intro to CPT class. We hit later in the advanced and also reimbursement class, because category 2 codes are performance measuring. This is your facility can this is optional. Okay, your facility can choose to participate in a program, and what they do is they prove their performance or their quality, and they get more money for that. Okay, so there's special codes for those types of facilities. And category 3 codes are for emerging technology. And again, we're not going to deal a lot with those either. Bigger hospitals and clinics and bigger cities might use some of these codes as well. Okay, what I have written by my slide here in my notes is there are 6 main divisions, and they do come up later in the PowerPoint as well. But you will be quizzed over those 6 main divisions, so we'll hit that in just a second. CPT codes and why we do them, it just allows for communication that's effective and efficient. Everyone uses CPT. I am teaching you CPT class from, Northeast Iowa Community College in Iowa. Okay, you can leave here if you come to class every day and see me, and go to, Maine and work, and they use the same language, the same CPT coding. You can go to Washington, you can go to California, you can go to any of the states, okay, and abroad, and we use CPT coding. It's standard, it's efficient, and it's very effective, okay. Look at this paragraph. I'm going to read through it, and a lot of these are big terms, and I don't want to scare you with this, but a patient that came to the hospital today could have had this procedure. A renal endoscopy through nephrostomy or a pyelotomy, with or without irrigation, installation, or ureteral pyelography, exclusive of radiologic service, with an endopyelotomy, which includes cystoscopy or ureteroscopy or dilation of the ureter or ureteral pelvic junction, and insertion of an endopyelotomy stent. That could be something that a patient had done, a service that our physician provided, or our surgeon. Code 50575, if you look that up in your CPT code book, says that whole paragraph. Would you rather type that paragraph out or speak that paragraph out, or would you rather say 50575? Okay, kind of a duh there. Way better for communication. Codes are used to tell third-party payers about your procedures or services that we may have provided. It's often used as a basis of payment. So a third-party payer, again, if we haven't been introduced to that, is your insurance company. Okay, could be Medicare, Medicaid, Mutual of Omaha, Continental General, Blue Cross Blue Shield. Okay, those are third-party payers. Every service or code has a fee or a dollar amount kind of assigned with it. That's how we get paid back for what we do. Okay? Incorrect coding. This is why you come to coding class, so that you don't do incorrect coding. If you have a facility that employs people that are not certified, okay, do not have their RHIT or some kind of coding credential, it results in their providers or their doctors being paid inappropriately. You can be overpaid, underpaid. Both of those are very fraudulent and abusive. Decreases your cash flow. Can we keep our doors open? And it's very big liability risk. So there are fines, there are imprisonments, things like that if you do incorrect coding at your facility. That's why more and more facilities are hiring people with the RHIT credential. Okay? Codes are used by all of these types of facilities, like the doctor's office. Really, coding is just that universal communication system. Outpatient services for physicians reported electronically. We use a claim form called a CMS 1500 that we use at the doctor's office. We're going to talk about that a lot in reimbursement class, so that's not too big of a deal. There's a picture of one if you need to have it. Again, we do a lot of that in reimbursement class. So the format of the book, okay, how do we even pick up this book and use it for homework? There are symbols. Okay, in CPT, and they're at the bottom of every page, and you can look at them freely. They give you more information, basically, is what symbols do. It's used to convey information. Okay, more of those. The triangle changes or modifications to the code description since a previous edition. Again, remember we said earlier they go yearly. They're updated every year. So they give an example. Code 50592 says ablation, one or more renal tumor or tumors. Percutaneous unilateral radiofrequency. A lightning bolt is out there. It means pending FDA approval. Okay, and you can also find all lightning bolt codes in Appendix K in your CPT book, which is at the back. And there's an example of, a code that has the lightning bolt with it as well. So symbols mean more information. The bullet means new code. Okay, so if it has a bullet in front of it, okay, it's the first time that it's been printed in the code book. All right, that's another quiz question. Okay, what does the bullet mean? It's a new code. It's always before the code, and there are examples you can find in your CPT book. The triangle means that the code has been revised or changed, and you can see it'll be right at the front again. Something must have been changed in the description, so kind of pay attention if you're using that code. The right and left triangles that face each other, okay, are the beginning and the ending of a text change. So the year before, this section said pacemaker or defibrillator, and inserted there, they said pacemaker or pacing cardioverter / defibrillator. And then down in the paragraph, they give an example of a change as well. The plus sign means it's an add-on code, and as you can see here in the book, or in the PowerPoint and also in your CPT code book, the plus sign will always come at the very beginning or before the code. Okay? It tells further, gives you further information. They always go along with another code. This slide just says the same thing, some rules about those add-on codes with the plus sign. There's a full list of them in Appendix D. They can't be used alone. They are only used with another more specific code. We'll get into those later on in the modifier chapter. The circle with a line through it means modifier 51 cannot be used with these codes. That little -51, the way you would say that as a coder and look really smart, is modifier 51. Okay, Appendix A in the back of your CPT book has all modifiers, and we have a whole chapter on them, so we'll get back to those later. The circle means it's a recycled or reinstated code. Okay, that has its place as well. And here's the appendices at the back of your code book. So you're going to have this semester a textbook, okay, and that's the step-by-step coding. Okay, every chapter will teach us how to use that area in the actual CPT book. So your actual CPT book or your code book, if I reference that, that's where you're getting your answers from and all your codes from. Okay, so you have the textbook, the workbook that goes along with it. A lot of your homework comes out of there. And then the actual code book is what we'll use to find the codes. More appendices. I'm going to slide through these because I'm going to get cut off here in just a second. Pay attention to the rest of the slide. All these 6 sections, remember I said